Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today we're going to be talking about converting cropland, which has been conventionally tilled, back into grass. There's a lot of questions concerning what steps to take, and you know, how do you take land that's just been nuked and nuked and nuked with chemicals for maybe the last 40 years, tilled, and nothing ever put back on it except for more chemicals and tillage. So basically you're starting out with a sterile environment. There's nothing out there. There's no microbes, there's no humus. Of course, there's no organic matter. That's all been gone for many years. So how do you get stuff to grow on something that, where the soil is just dead? Nothing will grow out there. And that's the subject we're going to cover, converting cropland back to grass. But before I get started, for you new subscribers out there, thank you all so much for clicking that subscribe button. And for those of you that are watching this, just reach up there and hit that subscribe. It just shows support, getting the word out. We need to get more people out here on the land, not less, and I need your help. Spread the word. Tell your friends about it, whatever. Anyway, we're going to get back to the subject here. So this was a bean field for many, many, many years, and I remember driving by it and the farmer had the moldboard plow in it, and I'm telling you, it was bad shape. This was a ditch right here. You can't even tell it now because we fed hay on it and got it all sealed in. This was a ditch. You can see a little bit of the ditch left, but it's all covered in soil or grass. It was going underneath that road culvert there. There was ditches all over this field. I mean, when it rained, the water wouldn't soak in. It just ran. There was no penetration. The soil is capped. In other words, when it rained, it would form this dinner plate and the water just set on top of the ground. That's what happens when you mine all the organic matter out of soil. And people say, well, is it soil? I said, well, what I started with wasn't soil, it was dirt. Soil is alive. It's got microbes in it, okay? So when I leased this farm, it was in soybeans. I told the farmer, I said, nope, no more soybeans. We're going to convert this thing to grass. And so the first thing I did, it was in the fall, we brought in about, I don't know, it was around 100 big round bales. We started feeding hay on it and rotating animals across it. And it didn't really, didn't sow anything, just put these critters down in here. And it took a few years, but when I first started, there wasn't a single earthworm on this whole field, and now they're all over. You can't take a pocket knife and dig a divot out here in the early spring without cutting into an earthworm or having 2 or 3 in a divot, the size of your fist. So now you look at the ground out here, it's covered. It's 100% covered. How did we do it? Well, that first year, the cockleburs came up, and we tried to graze them out with cattle, and they'd eat them, but it wasn't good on the cattle and it wasn't good on the ground, because what happened was the animals ate all the good plants. There was some orchard grass and fescue and clover underneath the burrs, and they ate those first, and then they went back and ate the cockleburs. So folks, in the springtime, you got to be really careful when you're converting. Let's just say you did do a seeding, or you unrolled hay on it in the wintertime when it was solid, and now it's springtime. Don't graze it on that first pass in the springtime. Let it go. Let the plants, the good plants, get a head start, because they need to be able to put pressure on the cocklebur seeds that are coming. And I'm telling you, you're going to have, you wouldn't believe the weeds that are in a crop field. I mean, I'm not going to go, well, I'll show you. Right across the road there, that's a soybean field. Folks, before they spray it with Roundup in the spring, you would not believe the weeds that come up with it. It's just solid weeds. And that's a broken system, folks. We're growing food on broken systems today. It's not healthy soil. We're the only society that I know of that we go out and we plant seeds, then we spray killer on it, weed killer, then we feed that to humans. Doesn't make any sense. You spray your food with poison? Are you kidding me? You wonder why we have a health crisis in the United States. Back to healthy soil. I'm sorry I got off on that, but it just irks me that we're spending all this money on health care and it's the food. Why not raise healthy food? Why not reward farmers that are grazing? Or raising, I shouldn't say grazing. Why not reward farmers that are raising healthy food on healthy land? There's a bunch of them out there. But you know, it all comes back to the soil. And so we focused on the soil, letting these ruminants trample all this forage on the ground starting out. But in the springtime, you don't want to be on those paddocks because, folks, there's not enough sod on cropped land to hold an animal up in the springtime when it's wet. All you're going to do is punch holes in that new pasture. If you did seed it, and some people do, which is fine. If you want to seed it, it might get you off to a faster start. It might not. It may not come up. We didn't have the money to seed it, but we got there. It just took us a little longer. But what really put us over the top was when Ian was here, and I was grazing cockleburs in the fall. And I think I've told some of y'all that story, but Ian says, Greg, you just can't graze that field in the spring. Act like you don't own it. Go around it. And that's what we did. We went around it, and by golly, as soon as we went around it, all this grass had a chance to come up and put pressure on the baby cockleburs. Folks, we whipped it. Absolutely whipped it. You don't find a burr in this field anymore, but we had to act like we didn't own it that first year or two, and we watch it when we graze this field. We don't want to be down in this bottom when it's wet. After a big storm, we might get some pugging. Well, if you get some pugging, that's a footprint that butts through the sod. Well, they might plant some new cockleburs. So if you got a bottom land, don't put them down there when it's flooding. Get them up on that ridge up there, okay? So that's a big one. And the other thing is on cropland, if you do to convert it back to grass, don't hay it. Don't hay it, because it's going to be laying pretty good. That's why they were cropping it probably. Don't go out there and cut it for hay, because all you're doing is going backwards. You've just lost a ton of money when you mowed that down for hay. You can buy hay a whole lot cheaper than you can bale it. Okay, so don't hay it. You're going to go backwards. See this animal right here in front of me, 585? Is that a beautiful animal or what? Okay, she's harvesting that feed, and when she takes a bite of it, especially in the growing season, every time she takes a bite of that grass plant, it tillers. It puts out more appendages, more grass blades, okay? If you hay a piece of property, especially a new cropland field that you're converting back to grass, when you mow that off for hay, it doesn't tiller the same way as it does with this cow ripping it off. You see, this cow, you're a friendly girl, aren't you? Yeah, I love you too, honey. You are a beautiful animal, and you love your life here, and we love you being here. When that animal reaches down and grabs a blade of this grass in front of me, isn't that beautiful? She pulls on it with her tongue, and when she pulls on that grass blade with her tongue, it sends the stimulus down that plant to the roots, okay? The microbes all get too busy eating each other. It's a war underneath our feet here, folks, on healthy soil. And we've got healthy soil out here now. No chemicals, no fertilizers, no chemical fertilizer. We're putting down a ton of fertilizer, but it's coming out into them cows, okay? Oh, and while I was saying that, I wanted to show you all something. I've been noticing, look at this, look at that manure pile. Ooh, boy. Oh, God, I love that, folks. Oh, God, I love that. That is so beautiful. Oh, just almost makes tears come to my eyes looking at that. Look at the ridges on that. Oh, God, that's beautiful. It's got the nice little pond in the middle. You know what that cow's telling me that pooped that out? She's telling me she's a happy camper. She's telling me she's putting on weight. She's not losing any condition. The calf that is sucking on her is getting his milk just a little bit here in the winter, just a little bit. And you know what? She's making me some money. She's growing a calf inside her. She's not sick. She's holding her condition. And she did all that from a grass plant that I grew here on the land, and I didn't have to harvest it with a mechanical machinery. She did it. This is what happened for thousands of years to the buffalo. The buffalo went across dropping these all over the place. You know, there was reports that the Great Plains had 17 to 20% organic matter before they started cropping it. Today it's less than 1%. It was ruminant animals that built that topsoil. We took the animals off the land. Now things are going to crap. Okay? Oh God, look at this one. Well, you know what? I'm going to open that one. I wasn't going to open it because it's so beautiful. It's like a painting. But I'm going to take my foot. I want to open it and show you all the consistency of this manure pad. Watch this. So there's my foot. Oh God, look at that. Woo! Folks, they don't make them any prettier than that. See, there's not any water coming to the top. You see a lot of water coming to the top of your manure pat. That's not the best manure pat. That's a beaut. That is an absolute beaut. Sorry, manure pat, I had to spread you out, but I've got a bunch more out here just like it. God, there's another beaut. That's another beaut. You don't want them stacked up too tall, folks. That's about 2 inches here in the middle of the winter. You don't want them up, 4 or 5 inches tall. That's telling you that your cows are not getting enough energy, and they're actually struggling to perform. You don't want a great big old tall manure pat, and you'll see that sometimes when you feed really low quality hay. It'll just be a big old clump out there. It'll look like somebody just threw a bucket of manure out there, and it's all stacked up. Well, I don't see any manure piles out here stacked. Here's one where a cow was walking and she pooped. So she didn't just put it in one manure patch, she spread it out for me, kind of like that. But folks, this was cropland. We took a sterile environment where there was no organic matter, not a single earthworm, erosion ditches all throughout. We used this mob of animals to heal it. Brought in some purchased hay and started unrolling that. That got it jump started. And folks, if you don't have anything on your land or nothing will grow, you're going to have to bring something onto that land, or maybe plant a cover crop or something. And I like cover crops. So just realize, when you plant cover crops, you need to have rain to get them to come up. And if you're putting a cover crop on really broken land, in other words, there's no fertility in it, don't expect that cover crop to come up and grow robust. It's not going to. You're going to have to put some kind of fertilizer on it. Now, once you get that cover crop in there and you put that back on the land with the animals, maybe the next year you won't have to put as much. I know, Gabe Brown's been doing this for many years up in North Dakota. He's got some pretty good soil up there as a result of it. So he's done some pretty magical things with cover crops. But here we're perennial. That's what we do. We take the animals and we get the carbon on the ground and we make a living with it that way. See, there's a calf that would have been probably a June calf. You see, it's getting just a little bit of milk. It's dang near half the size of his mama. But you know what? That cow's in good condition. He's just getting a little bit of milk, helping him digest this stockpiled fescue. That's what he's doing. But folks, it's a beautiful day out here, and I'm going to sign off because I want to get out here and enjoy the rest of the day with my cows. And for those of you all just new to the channel, welcome, and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you down the road, folks. Be careful.